Hello everyone. It is time for Mchan338 as he runs The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past 100%. And make sure you get those donations in to see that bonus any percent run at the end of this. Mchan, take it away.
Alright, hello everybody. Welcome back to Completithon. My name is Mchan338, and today I am joined by...
Hi, I'm Ateatree. It's lovely to be here with you today, raising money for Somos Familia Valle. Hope you are all very well, especially you, Mchan.
I'm doing very well, thank you very much. Alright, let's go ahead and set the run up real quick. Alright. So yeah, there's a bonus run that will hopefully get met during the run here. Y'all got about 2 hours or less to get that glitched any percent run in. It would be really cool to see. But for now, let's go ahead and begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright.
So our category on the screen just says 100%. Is this 100% no major glitches, or...?
Yes, it is 100% no major glitches. You will not be seeing any major glitches in this run. But yeah, so this is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. It's the third Zelda game, and the only Zelda game on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. The category is 100%. So in 100%, you have to get all the heart pieces, heart containers, you have to get all the items, you have to upgrade everything, complete all the dungeons. And something that's really interesting about the 100% run is that there are some items that have multiple tiers in the upgrades. And if I'm able to get the highest tier, then I can skip any other lower variation tier of the particular item, as we only care about the highest tier item. I also don't have to get all the maps and compasses, and the Pawn of Happiness that upgrades your bomb to arrow capacity upgrade is not required in this run at all.
Gotcha. Okay. So how many times will we be seeing situations where it's faster to just grab, either a second or third tier variant of an item rather than the base one?
About 3 times, and actually the first instance is right away in the first dungeon here, Hyrule Castle.
Right,
so
you'd otherwise be getting the boomerang, right?
Yeah, so we're actually going to be skipping the boomerang, so, which is, it's 100%, so you might think that I have to get the boomerang, but it's actually faster to get an upgraded boomerang later on, rather than get this boomerang and upgrade it. So, as we go through Hyrule Castle, right off the bat, I'm doing, you don't really notice it, but I'm actually, whenever I'm facing left or up, I am mashing on the D-pad, and that has a technique called pumping. So anytime, Link's movement pretty much alternates between 1 and 2 pixels per frame, and so what I'm doing here is I'm mashing diagonal every time I'm facing left or up, in order to because when Link moves left or up, he starts off with the 2 pixel per frame animation, and so I'm basically just resetting his animation to be 2 pixels for every mash. It saves about a few seconds over the course of the run, so just something that you do until you get the Pegasus boots. So in that chest that I skipped earlier, that contained the boomerang, and I'm going to be skipping it. You would otherwise pick it up in the 80% category, but we're going to skip it this time. And in a few places where the boomerang saves time, you lose about a few seconds here and there, but it's not a big deal. Okay, nice. So that was our, I guess you could say a mini-boss, the Ball and Chain Guard. He's kind of our first difficult enemy. As you can see, he does 1 heart of damage, so he does hurt quite a bit. And it can be your first part where it can be easy to die, but fortunately, didn't run into too many issues with him.
Yeah, once you got him locked up against the wall, you were out of the range of his weapon, so...
Yeah.
Nice.
So we got Zelda. We also picked up the lamp. There are actually 3 places where you can pick up the lamp. You can pick it up at the house, the well where we got a sword, or the jail, and it is faster to pick it up in the jail. So now we got Zelda, and we have to take her to the sanctuary. Basically, some wizard named Aghanim is trying to kidnap all the maidens in order to break a seal to some place called the Golden Land, and that's pretty much the story of this part of the game right now.
I tell you, it's always a wizard with nefarious plans.
Exactly.
This Skyward,
he got rid of
Twilight.
he got rid of the king, and now he's trying to get rid of the sages and the maidens. So coming up is our like first variants of like RNG here and there. Basically, enemies. All the enemies in this game, they start off in the same position, but where they move is random. So a lot of the times, the times come down to, like, the execution times come down to, like, how well can you react to different enemy patterns across various rooms. And it does add
so
up over the
would you
course of the
say
run.
it's more about the quality of your reaction, or more about, like, the favorability of patterns, or a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because there are some enemy patterns in some rooms where, like, you just straight up lose time, and
you have to avoid it.
Yeah, there are like things that you can do, but you can only do so much to mitigate time losses.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh,
So in
you're
this next
saying there
room
might
here,
be some
this,
circumstances where you have to just like leave a room and come back, hope for a better pattern.
Rooms typically don't go that.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so the rat that has the key in that room right there has like a few different patterns, and the worst pattern is if he went up to the very top of the room, which would be the worst case, but that didn't happen. So right here, if you hold right, instead of just going down, then you actually skip a text trigger. It saves about a few seconds. Although sometimes one of those rats can actually hit you into the text trigger. And we are out of Hyrule Castle.
Look at that. We saved Princess Zelda. That was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Too bad we have to go collect all the items now, or this run would be... No, wait, that's the bonus run. You'll need the donut to see that one.
Yeah. Okay, so in this chest coming up here, right here, it's going to be the only free heart container you get. Every other heart container that we get in the game, we have to work for it. So in any percent categories, like the no major glitches category, most people actually pick that heart container up because, you know, this game's very hard, and later on there's going to be like a bunch of hard-hitting enemies, and having that one extra heart throughout the course of the run can make a big difference in whether or not you survive in some of the hard sections. But here, 100%, we have to pick it up, so...
Yeah, especially if you're potentially skipping some armor pickup, some other upgrades that might increase your survivability.
Yep, exactly. So now we're gonna go straight to our first real dungeon, which is East Palace. There are some side quests that you can do in order to help make Eastern Palace a bit easier, but with our current equipment, it's very far out of the way, so it's very inconvenient to get those now.
So outside of having skipped the boomerang so far, this is largely identical to any percent up to this point?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, because with the boomerang, you can stun enemies and basically just walk right through them. And without the boomerang, as obviously as you can see, any enemy that's in my way, I just have to just either slash them or go around them. So yeah, this is Eastern Palace. It's a pretty straightforward dungeon for the most part. Not a whole lot to talk about. This cannonball room right here has a bunch of different patterns. Sometimes you can go like alternate between left and right, or you can. The best possible case is if all the cannonballs roll to the right, and you stay on the left side the whole time. In this next room right here, there's normally 4 Stalfos that appear, but if you move in a certain way, then only 2 will appear. And I know exactly where the 2 are going to spawn, and so I just throw pots at their hitbox and defeat them before they even show up on screen. I'm going to pick up these extra arrows right here. You generally don't need them, but in case I get unlucky later in the dungeon, then this extra arrow pickup will help me. Coming up in the next room you're supposed to fight all the enemies in order for a group of anti-fairies to move out of the way of a pot that has a switch. But if I damage boost in a certain way, then I can hit that switch right away without having to kill any of the enemies. So we'll see how this goes. Nice. So that's our first sequence break of the run.
Very good. And that was basically just down to knowing that when you hit an enemy hitbox, Link will get pushed back a specific amount at a direction, kind of pursuant to where he bumped the enemy, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So we got the bow. And the bow, we're going to be using arrows quite a lot. So we're going to be racking up on arrows whenever convenient. I'm going to be stocking up on a bunch of arrows for the rest of the dungeon here in order to get as much as we can.
Gotcha.
And go behind that statue, that Igor statue, without having to defeat it in order to hit the switch behind it.
Is there like an actual bare minimum for number of arrows, or is it really just, hey, I'm going to take as many as I can because I might need them later?
It's more so like the second option that you mentioned.
Yeah. Kind of a comfort factor, having a backup in case, you get an enemy moving in a bad pattern and you don't want to have to get close to them. That makes sense.
Nice. So in that boss fight, the way I did that fight is specific in a way where normally if all the other Armos Knights are defeated, then the last Armos Knight will... oh, new life's here. Okay, great. If the last Armos Knight is alive, then he'll turn red and it resets his health. So I did that fight in a way where I defeat all the Armos Knights before the last one turns red.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
I apologize for my tardiness.
You're
worries
fine.
at all. Everyone say hello. Welcome to New Life 88. How are you doing today?
Good. It's a bit late.
Yeah, that's what we understood. We were going over that with each other before the run started. We're like, okay, no, it's rather late for them, so maybe they. But no, we're glad to have you with us.
Yeah. All right. So after completing the first dungeon, we go to Sarastral. He gives us the Pegasus boots, and so the Pegasus boots you can dash, but also, hold on. Okay, nice. Okay, so what I did there is a trick called Super Speed. The variation I did is called Spin Speed, where if I spin attack and press A, the frame after I release my spin attack, then Link gets put into a state where if I go up some stairs, then Link just moves really fast. So that's used pretty much in like everywhere whenever like there's stairs and I have to travel with like it saves for the most part, it saves like having to just repeatedly dash in cardinal directions all over the place. And it's exclusive to the Japanese 1.0 version of A Link to the Past, which is actually worth noting that this is the Japanese 1.0 version of the game. The Japanese version, because there's fewer text boxes, so you save about a minute. And then also there's tricks exclusively to the 1.0 version that aren't in any other version.
If this was the first version produced, I wouldn't be surprised if they kept doing bug fixing through other versions, both the English 1.0 and then any revision parts.
Yeah, exactly. And so with those tricks, with those exclusive tricks, that's another minute save. So over the course of the run, you save like 2 minutes playing on Japanese 1.0 over any other version.
I see. So is it one of those situations where basically everyone runs like this because that's what all of the guides are written for? Or is it like hey, if you happen to have a cart handy, you can learn on that, and then when you're getting serious, you switch over to this version?
Yeah, so actually this route that I'm doing can still work in on versions outside of 1.0. It's just that you're missing out on the tricks.
Got it.
Yeah, so now we're moving on to our second dungeon, which is Desert Palace. Desert Palace is a dungeon that really demonstrates how useful dashing is. Because there's as you can see, there's a lot of these long hallways, and obviously dashing is very much worth it in when you're going through these long hallways. The general rule of thumb is because as you can see, there's a startup animation anytime you start up a dash. It's not worth dashing all the time. So the rule of thumb is if where you need to go is about 4.5 tiles or more, then it's worth dashing. Unless you're about to get hit, then it's worth dashing. For shorter distances, you can just walk.
When you say about to get hit, do you mean before the while the dash animation is happening, or can you be hit out of the dash itself as well?
Yeah, sometimes if you run to the enemy in a particular way while you're dashing, then an enemy can hit you.
Okay.
So I don't have very much else to say, so if there's any donations or any announcements, then this would be a pretty good time. Host?
Or if not, or if we caught Oz sleeping, how about New Life?
Sorry. No, it's too late. Sorry, I forgot. I was speaking. I forgot that I was muted.
Oh no,
okay.
These things do happen.
But Completithon here, the marathon that you are watching at this very moment, is raising money for Somos Familia via a community-based organization created and led by local, low-income, first-generation college students for LGBTQ+ people of color in the San Fernando Valley area in San Fernando, California. Somos Familia via organizes for intersectional LGBTQ+ liberation through transformative dialogue, advocacy, and civic engagement. Your donations are going through and going towards all of their programs that they set up for the people who are affected and who benefit from their community organization. And we also have amazing incentives for you to get, including the bonus any percent run at the very end of this run, and another bonus any percent run at the end of Super Meat Boy. And the final goal incentive that I want to meet is Pantheon of Hollow Nest. At the very end of Hollow Knight. That'll be the very end of the marathon. We have all night to get those met. So please donate because we want to see more of the marathon, and I know that you do too.
Alright, we're approaching the boss of the dungeon. So, New Life, would you like to explain how Lanmolas works?
Lanmolas, yeah, Lanmolas, it's 3 worms that you have to hit the head of. They're kind of tricky. You have to time your... You want to fight them with your bow and arrows because they do more damage, and you want to hit them in the head with 4 arrows each.
Jeez, yeah, those hitboxes do seem rather particular. We're seeing Mchan kind of lodging the arrow just behind where the head hitbox is on some of these worms, and it's just not counting.
Yeah.
Alright, I think this guy needs one more arrow.
They are...
Okay, there we go.
Except for the first cycle, the other cycles are pretty much RNG. So you have to adapt really, really well to the fight.
Yeah, so this is right away, the first, hard boss to... At least a hard boss to do well. It's not hard in a way where you're gonna die, but it is definitely hard to do really well. Yeah. If you're really good, then you can get it. You can defeat that fight within 2 cycles of that fight. But you have to be really good, and it's also RNG. The RNG comes from the fact that they can sometimes do what's known as a short hop, which means they travel the screen less, which means you have less time to get arrows in.
So it's like you said, and kind of like New Life mentioned, specifically after the first cycle, it's about, that's one of the sections that's principally about how well you can respond to what the game is doing. And it's not a situation where if you put the same inputs in every time, you'll get the same, situation back from the game.
Yeah, that fight is basically random. So we're approaching the next Japanese 1.0 exclusive trick. It is called Fake Flippers. So right now I don't have flippers. However, I'm going to do a trick where if I jump in water on the very last pixel before a screen transition and screen transition right as I hit the water, then the game will just let me swim. The downside is if I get hit at all, which can sometimes be easy to do. Okay, I did it. That's good. If I get hit, then the game doesn't know where to put me and just soft locks the game. But don't have to worry about that. No soft locks. The run continues.
Very good. I'm glad we didn't have to go far.
Yeah. And and because that's a 1.0 exclusive trick, there is a bit of a slightly different route that in order to get up to this point, if you're doing this run with not on Japanese 1.0. This saves about 6 seconds. Nice damage boost. Okay, so heading into the Dark Cave and into a new area called Death Mountain. We are approached by this guy who is lost and we need to guide him out of the cave. You can't dash with him, unfortunately.
I do like the idea of Link picking him up and then dashing though.
Yeah. Something I'm doing is, well, it's like, it's kind of hard to pay attention to it, but basically, the only use of L and R in this game is to clear the very last text box of any set of dialogue in this game, which is useful so that way, like, you're not accidentally mashing too much to where you, like, accidentally use an item when you don't want to.
I see. Okay. It's a safe way to clear a text box without taking an extra action.
Yeah, and so some runners would actually memorize how many like text boxes there are in any set of
given conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is gonna be our first bomb jump. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, man. Okay. So what I was trying to do there was set myself up in a way where the bomb, if I stand in a specific spot, I was about a pixel off of where I was trying to stand, but the bomb would recoil me much farther than how much it recoiled me there, and I could escape from a higher part of the mountain. Didn't happen that time. That's okay.
Yeah, I was curious if we were talking pixels or maybe even sub-pixels. I know tricks, especially in older games, tend to get that kind of, like, you know, you need that level of proximity to it. It's that particular.
Yeah. But in this next dungeon coming up, you'll be seeing another bomb jump, and this bomb jump is much more lenient than the bomb jump that I just pulled off. And we'll explain how bomb jumps work after I pull that one off. But for now, if there's any more donations or announcements, then this would be a good time.
Yes, thank you so much. We actually do have one donation, a $5 donation from Cassasaur that says more marathon. Yes, please. Congrats to everyone on a successful return event, and that went towards the very incentive that we're trying to get met at the end of this run, the bonus any percent glitched run. It's incredibly fast, and the amount that goes into that run is incredibly technical. I cannot emphasize how cool it'll be to see it, so please help us get that met.
Yeah, remember when we first mentioned that incentive during the run, like 15, 20 minutes ago, when it was 6 minutes in? The any percent run is about half that long, so we go from here to there real fast. You will not want to miss it.
So with the mirror that we got from the old man, as you can see, it allows me to warp to the beginning of the dungeon each time, and it saves backtracking, and it's very useful in this dungeon as well as a few other dungeons later on. So we're approaching our next bomb jump. So would you like to explain bomb jumps, New Life?
Yeah, bomb jumping. So by using the explosion of the bombs, you kind of like get boosted over it.
Okay, good.
You can use that in a few situations in this game.
Okay, well, what we just saw there from Mchan was that was the Pegasus boost into the wall. Does Link typically have to set himself up in a specific way to make the changed momentum from the bomb happen, or is it based on like where Link is at the time? What kind of factors can influence how far you get blown up by a bomb?
Well, the way Mchan does it, he uses the bonk. The bonk is a more safer strat, I would say, and it's more consistent. Because with the bonk, you get a little bit higher on the, or like, so you get the bomb jump is much more consistent that way. There are different setups that you can use that will get you the bomb jump.
Mchan doing a very good job taking care of, this is Moldorm, right?
Yep, this is Moldorm. The most frustrating boss in across the Zelda series.
Yeah, the most hated boss, probably.
Yeah, so basically, as you can probably saw a couple of times there, he can knock you around a bunch of times, and he can even knock you in the holes, and you want to try to beat him without falling in the holes. If you fall in the hole, his HP resets, and it is, you lose.
That's the worst.
Yeah, it's even worse because there's a center hole in that area, and you fall down 2 floors if you fall down the center hole.
It's very punishing.
Absolutely, that's the one they're expecting to have happen on the, your first playthrough when you're trying to keep as close to him as possible.
Yeah. All right, so we got all 3 pendants, so now it is time to go to the Lost Woods and retrieve our first sword upgrade, known as the Massive Sword. The Massive Sword.
Heard of that.
Yeah, where could you have heard that from? The Massive Sword allows you to do one more base damage to enemies, and then also when you're at full HP, then you can do sword beams, which are beams that shoot from your sword whenever you swing your sword, and it only happens whenever you do when you have full HP, and it'll always do one base damage for no matter which sword upgrade you get. So this is our first sword upgrade, which is the Master Sword, and now we're going to be doing a little bit more extra damage to enemies. So Sahasra is going to telepathically communicate with us that we retrieved the Master Sword, and now we can defeat Aghanim with the Master Sword.
In Japanese.
Yeah, in Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, written Japanese is a language that communicates concepts with more brevity than English, so I imagine these cutscenes are a good little bit shorter than they would be in English.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the opening cutscene right off the bat in the very beginning of the game already saves 3 seconds in Japanese. So we gotta get a few extra items on our way out of Lost Woods. Got a mushroom and a heart piece. I got the mushroom after getting the Master Sword. It saves very little, just getting it after.
Is that because you were like able to use a sword beam to reveal it, or because it happens to be in your path on the way back out?
I think the movement's is easier, and from what and people say that it's so you don't accidentally grab the mushroom again, because the mushroom does respawn if you get it before.
I see. Got it.
Alright, so now we're going back to Hyrule Castle, and we're going to go to a different part of Hyrule Castle. So there's a barrier that cannot be broken unless you have the Master Sword. And now that we got the Master Sword, we're able to break it, and we're about to head into the upper part. People like to call it Aghanim's Tower, but officially it is called Castle Dungeon. So here we go. This is a bit of like a technical dungeon. It's pretty much like a gauntlet of a bunch of enemy fights. So what people do in this second room is a way to like kind of like a different strat where you pretty much dash into those soldiers instead of what I just did there, and that's so you can manipulate what's known as the prize pack. And so the way drops work in this game is under like a table that's like kind of complicated to explain in this form of commentary. And so basically when you dash into enemies cannot drop anything when you dash into them, and thus it actually resets the drop table. And you take advantage of that to manipulate a fairy drop somewhere else in the run. But
it's one of those things where every however many enemies you defeat, either just generally or maybe without taking damage, you get a special drop.
Something like that. For me, it's not that important 100% because at a certain point you get so much health. Yeah. So I don't usually do the prize pack manipulation for that room.
That guy that shoots the arrow there, terrible enemy.
Okay. This next room here is much easier with the boomerang, because this red soldier that you don't have to defeat can sometimes get in your way as he did there, but he didn't give me too much troubles that time. And now coming up is the infamous Aghanim fight. So get your guesses in chat between a number between 0 and 15, as we're about to fight Aghanim, pretty much completely RNG. The way the Aghanim fight works is he has a cycle of 5 attacks. The first attack is a guaranteed energy shot and can use to deflect back at him. The attacks 2, 3, and 4 is a 50-50 between an energy shot and another attack that's known as a blue ball. A blue ball basically just a non-reflectable attack, you lose time. And then the 5th attack is a lightning attack. And the cycle repeats itself until you defeat Aghanim. It takes 6 hits to beat him. So assuming you don't miss an energy shot, the absolute worst that you can get is 15 blue balls, and it's only happened to like 2 people ever.
All right, so the guess that's best on time so far has been 2, and the highest guess is 7 from what I've seen.
I got 1 so far, so let's see what happens here. So we got 1 blue ball out of this cycle. This is a electric attack. You just got to go ahead and just not be in the way. So there's the second one. A third one. Okay, so we're guaranteed to have a third cycle. Okay, so because I know that his next shot is going to be a guaranteed energy shot, I know for sure we have 3 blue balls. So which is about average when you're just doing runs.
I can predict the future.
Yeah, it's exactly what New Life said. Well done, you.
Dang.
Almost like you've played this game before.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, generally when you're doing PB attempts, you try not to get anywhere more than like 4 or more cycles. But again, it's luck based, so what can you do? So now here we are in the Dark World. And the Dark World is this is the part where the game starts to open up. So we have 8 more dungeons that we have to do. And after we do the first Dark World dungeon, Dark Palace, or Palace of Darkness, then you can do, when you're just playing through the game, then you can do the dungeons in several different orders. And so we take advantage of that fact, and that we're going to be doing all the Dark World dungeons out of order. So we're going to make our way to the Palace of Darkness, which is in the same place as where Eastern Palace would be in the Light World. And this is also where the game starts to increase in difficulty, as from here on there's going to be harder hitting enemies.
Especially since we're going to be moving out of the expected order, right?
Yes.
Is the primary, is there a particular thing that we're prioritizing as far as like getting a more powerful weapon in doing this route, getting more health?
Yes, actually.
Okay,
so,
what's that?
Yeah, so we get, after this dungeon, we want to do the 4th Dark World dungeon as early as we can, because because the item from the 4th Dark World dungeon allows us to open up a side quest that'll just upgrade our sword. So, in most categories, you want to do the 4th Dark World dungeon as early as possible.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between getting a Master Sword and the Tempered Sword. It allows you to kill enemies much quicker.
Yeah. So for now, we're just getting a couple keys, mirroring, get another key, mirror, up until after this key, there's another trick. It's another bomb jump, and this bomb jump is arguably one of the hardest bomb jumps of the run. We call it the hammer jump, where it is a double pixel perfect positioning of the bomb and Link himself in order to clip through a railing in order to get the item of the dungeon to hammer. Earlier than intended, you pretty much skip 2 keys doing this bomb jump.
Alright, let's see it.
And if that didn't sound hard, it also has a timer, because the floor is falling, so you have to be quick.
Yes. Yeah, I'm setting the bomb jump up on a collapsing bridge. So here we go, let's do this. Nice.
Oh, very nicely done.
So what I did to set to make it easier to set the trick up is I did a lot of pausing,
Yeah,
and that
pause
is
buffering.
and that is so I could buffer 1 pixel movements each time in order to adjust myself.
I have to imagine, even with somebody who's had a lot of practice, looking at that and trying to figure out if you're on the right track as that goes is just gut-wrenching each time.
Yeah. It's very easy to lose a lot of time in that trick if it takes too many buffers.
True.
So having and actually, if you fail that trick too many times, then you might not have enough hearts to, well, 1, survive the rest of the dungeon, and 2nd, if having full hearts in this part is very useful, because as you saw earlier, I used the sword beam to hit a switch from a distance, and then there's another switch I'm going to be using sword beams for, and so you would have to just alternate between hammer and arrows if you're coming into this part without full HP. This upcoming room here is a room full of many turtles. I got not the most ideal pattern with those enemies, but as long as you don't get hit too many times is the important part. Basically, if you struggle too much in that room, it's we call it Turtle Party, because you just have a ride with those guys.
Yeah, you let too many of them get back up and you're just chasing them all over, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, now that's definitely not a turtle.
Yeah, so would you like to explain this fight, New Life?
So yeah, you have to basically the Helm Sword is the name of the boss. He has a mask. You have to break it. You can either break it with hammers or you can also use bombs. So you have to hit the mask 17 times, and then it will break. And then he has like an eye, like a third eye that you have to hit. So you can either hit with the sword, with a hammer, or with arrows. But yeah, he is.
It seemed like the first phase of that fight was actually the long part.
Yeah, there's a lot of RNG to this boss too, because he has he can dash into you, he can swing his tail, and he can shoot fireballs at you. And so you need to adapt really quick to this fight sometimes.
Yeah, it's a pretty scary fight because he does all of his attacks do 2 hearts of damage, and you can get into a situation to where you're in the bottom of the screen, Helmosaur's on the bottom of the screen, and then he shoots out a fireball and prepares his tail swipe attack, and you just lose a lot of hearts in the process if you're in that situation. So.
Still my scariest boss when I play the test.
Yeah. But we didn't run into that situation, so that's good.
That was a really good fight.
Okay, so after doing the first Darkwood dungeon, again the overworld starts to open up quite a lot now, and so actually this is actually the longest stretch without doing a dungeon, as we're going to be collecting a lot of items from here. First off, I'm going to get a bunch of rupees because I need those rupees in order to do some mini games that are going to be really fun to do. Alright, let's hope these guys don't get in my way. Alright, good. Alright, so we just gotta get... we're gonna get a heart piece, and then we're going to get the flute from the flute boy. And there's a trick with getting the flute, where if I get the flute in a particular way, then I can warp back to the Dark World immediately after getting the flute without having to watch a cutscene where all the animals go off screen. And that trick is exclusive to this category. As in the 80% no major glitches run, you want to stay in the light world after getting the flute. So we got the flute, there it is, and we skipped the cutscene. So coming up is the digging game. So get your guesses in chat as to how many tries it's going to take me to get the heart piece in the digging game.
First try, right now.
First try, alright, bold claim.
Highly unlikely, but your enthusiasm and optimism is appreciated.
So the way the digging game works is the first 25 holes that you dig has a 0% chance at giving you a heart piece. Every other hole has a 1 in 32 chance at getting a heart piece. So if you dig optimally, then the odds add up to about a one-third chance of getting a heart piece. And if you don't get the heart piece, then you want to hope that you get good rupee luck, because you still need a bunch of rupees for other stuff outside the minigames after the minigames. Okay, so that was the first try. Didn't get the heart piece, so now guess what? I gotta reset the screen and try again.
I'll get it next time. Second try.
It's important to be careful with your rupee count. Like, make sure that you have rupees because, like Mchan said, like you're gonna need a lot of rupees after, especially in the next mini game, and then you need 500 to buy the flippers, and then an extra 100.
There it is! Second try. Let's go.
See, I told you I was right.
Thank you, Oz.
Second time, it works every time.
Exactly. If you just say that it'll work next time, eventually, you will be right.
That's true. But yeah, so, that is unfortunately the one of two of the biggest run killers of 100%, and is kind of the main reason. If you look at the 100% leaderboard, there's not very many runners who run 100%, and even then, like most of the runners that are on that leaderboard don't really take the category too very seriously. And that's because, like, you come to a point where your times come down to getting good digging game, and then later on, good chess game luck as well. Like, even if you get the good luck on digging game, it's not over, because you gotta hope for good chess game luck. So, as a result, not very many people really, like, run this game, or run this category long-term. Like, it would be better if it was, like, earlier in the run, but because it's like 40 minutes, you don't get the good luck 40 minutes later, then reset, try again, hope that you get it next time.
Yeah, it's rough to have two different blockers in a hour and 45 or 2 hour run, especially in considerably different portions of the run, with the earliest one being 40 minutes in. So you're saying, once you have a good enough time, what is generally considered, if there is a consensus among the people who run 100%, what is considered a good enough time for most runners?
A really good milestone goal, at least in my opinion, is sub 150.
Okay.
Which is generally not too hard to achieve. Requires, of course, decent strats, as well as, of course, decent luck.
I happen to have done a little bit of homework and know that both the runner and the other commentator in this call have met that mark, so...
Yeah. And actually, so right now my current PB is 148.57, and the estimate's 2 hours, and the estimate is set that high in the off chance that these minigames go poorly, because you can get runs where you just lose like 10, 20, even 30 minutes.
Yeah. I think one of my worst lucks was 31 tries on the chess game.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And that's not even the worst. The worst is like around 60-something attempts.
I've heard... I mean, at that point, you're just going, like, because you're streaming and it's for content, right? Or just to prove that it can't possibly be that bad.
You're also curious to know how many tries.
Yeah, how many can you get before you decide to call it on a day?
Exactly.
Right. It's like flipping a coin that can come up heads or tails and having it come up heads, 30 times in a row.
Yeah. So actually, we're coming up to chess game very soon. So the way the chess game works is you open 2 chests per attempt at the cost of 30 rupees. So again, if you don't get the good luck, then you just hope that you get rupees. And the prizes vary: bombs, arrows, rupees, a heart drop, and as well as a piece of heart. It's a 1 in 8. Ooh, okay, this fairy. Okay, so this fairy, I'm gonna pick up that fairy for something a bit later. Anyway, so the heart piece is a 1 in 8 chance that it'll appear in the chess game. And there's a bug in the 1.0 version of this game where you can't get the heart piece on the first chest that you open, so you just have a flat out 1 in 8 chance to get the heart piece in this game. Otherwise, this minigame is easier on every other version. So that's 2 tries down.
2 tries down, and who knows how many left to go.
Yeah. Fortunately, it is fast to retry, unlike the digging game. But if you once you get to a point where like it's too many tries, and then not much you can do to save the run after that.
You mind if I come in with a quick donation?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a $15 donation from our very own Ateatree that says, "I can't stress enough how important local civic engagement is for minority and underprivileged communities. I'm proud to donate to Somos Familia Valle to help them out in that goal. And hey, maybe we get to see more Link in the Past as a bonus." And I agree, Ateatree. That is $15 more towards the Link to the Past bonus any percent glitch run. And that leaves us around $65 left. We can definitely do it. And we're only $30 to the 1300 mark, so that's even better. I know we can do it by the end of this run. We still have about an hour and 10 minutes or so, or less. And so I highly recommend donating to that because we really want to see more of this marathon.
Yeah, as someone who has kind of an enthusiast background in politics, like it's the local engagement, the local area engagement is where a lot of meaningful change happens for, communities of people, for neighborhoods, and for groups of people who, need people to speak up on their behalf. So the fact that the people at Somos Familia Valle are willing and able to do that with donations like yours means a lot of difference to a lot of people who need it. If I could donate to give Mchan some good RNG right now, I would. I'm sorry it doesn't work that way. I feel bad.
I think that was 10 tries so far and still no luck. I'm getting good rupee luck, but man, where's the heart piece?
I mean, 1 in 8 is a 12.5% chance. Statistically, it should have happened by now, but here we are. I appreciate that you stick to your guns.
It's the curse of having a second try dig.
Yeah, pretty much. They can't both go well in the same
There
round.
it is!
Hey!
Okay, so actually, I have a lot of rupees, so I can actually do a different route where normally you actually get the red boomerang, the upgrade boomerang after, but I have so many rupees that I'm gonna get it after at the expense of skipping a 300 rupee chest that you would normally get.
Oh yeah, no, as somebody who just has casual experience with this game, I do have, and this is curious, I believe this guide might actually be quite old, but I'm curious to know the provenance. But there is a section here where it says rupee check. You have more than 600 rupees, continue to the next part. So I take it that's the path that we are on now. Because we can pay for the tempered sword right away. Neat.
Yep. And actually, with how much rupees I have right now, I am actually set for rupees for the rest of the run. I do not need to get any more rupees. Because you do want to have 610 after leaving chess game. Okay, so in this room is called the Heck Way. I'm trying to keep it friendly here. And as you can see, it is exactly what it looks like. Lots of enemies on a moving conveyor, spikes, and they just get in your way a lot as you try to go through that room. And if you can actually, there is a pixel perfect spot where you can line it up perfectly to where you can just dash through that whole room, but you have to line yourself up precisely, and it's also RNG because the enemies can just get in your way anyway. But yeah, so this is Thief's Town. It's a really easy dungeon to go through. It is the if you're following along, you might notice this is actually the 4th Dark World dungeon, not the 2nd one.
Right, which you mentioned earlier is the one we want to go to right away.
Yes, as early as possible.
And we chose to go here right after the chess game because we had more rupees? Or was this always going to be the destination?
It's always going to be the destination, yes. So that fairy drop that I got earlier allowed me to skip a fairy that I would normally get in that particular room. And again, you don't actually. It is technically faster to actually not get a fairy, but for the purpose of the marathon, there's a really insane trick that is like very high risk potential, and so the fairy it just allows me to mitigate that risk. So we rescued the maiden, and you know, she wants us to leave the dungeon, but if we try to take her out of the dungeon, she says, "I don't want to go that way." Why is that? Oh, but it turns out it's the maiden in disguise. It's blind. So, blind is probably one of the easiest bosses in the speedrun, whereas if you remember playing this game casually, it was like a really crazy fight, because the heads go everywhere, the fireballs go everywhere, but what makes this fight really easy in the speedrun is that if you know exactly how to fight him each time, then you get consistent results of the fight. So that was a really easy fight. Got hit a couple times, but you know, managed to recover it.
Right, as long as you have the hearts, you can basically keep that all under control.
Exactly. If you do mess up the fight, then it does go out of hand very quickly. So it is important that you do get the exact fight that you want. So yeah. So the item that we got is the Titan's Mitts, which allows us to pick up the darker stoned rocks, which is important because one of the side quests that we're actually going to be doing is locked behind acquiring the Titan's Mitts. So we want to do Thieves' Town as early as we can for this reason. First off, getting the red boomerang. What's interesting about that boomerang is that chest will contain 300 rupees if you've gotten the blue boomerang from Hyrule Castle. But it's been replaced with the red boomerang because I didn't get the blue boomerang from Hyrule Castle. Probably because at this point you actually cannot go back to Hyrule Castle, so you just completely miss the blue boomerang entirely. So I think the game just doesn't want you to miss out on items.
Yeah, it's typically how checks for these sorts of things worked in older games. It was like, hey, if you have this item and your inventory doesn't currently show you have that other item, we're just gonna like give it to you, or whatever other checks would have been involved in getting it, because that's the only way we have to do like error handling in the game. Otherwise, some of the item lookup tables and other RNG might not work properly. Games used to have games used to have sometimes very unusually interconnected logic in that way, whereas they figured the best thing they could do to make sure that the rest of the game worked smoothly was to give you items you might not have actually earned on your own.
We saved the dwarf from those rocks, and we gotta pay 10 rupees to give him our sword, so that way they can upgrade our sword. And while we're waiting for that, we can do a couple things. We're gonna grab this purple chest for something a little bit later, and then if you fall down this well, then there's this mad batter who will give us an upgrade called half magic. What that means is any item that we use that uses magic will be reduced in half.
When I was a kid, I thought it meant the opposite for some reason.
Yeah. The dialogue, if you read it in English, the dialogue kind of tricks you, but it turns out it's actually useful.
Yeah, I would say when I hear half magic, kind of makes you think like the magic will do half damage. But
Yeah. So we got our sword upgrade, the tempered sword, so now we can do 3 base damage, which is actually quite a lot, and it's actually going to be very useful for the next upcoming dungeon that we're about to do in a little bit. So we're going to deliver this chest over to this guy, who was formerly a thief, and let's see if I can do this. Oh, okay, so if you use the flute, the frame after you say yes on that dialogue, then you can use the flute right away. And it saves a little bit of time and it looks cool, but didn't get it that time. That's okay. So now we're going to now make our way to our next dungeon. It's called Skull Woods, the 3rd Dark World dungeon, which it is our 3rd Dark World dungeon, so it works out.
And
So,
from one of the easiest bosses to one of the trickiest bosses.
Yeah, so Skull Woods casually is known to be like a really complicated dungeon because there's like so many different ways you can enter this dungeon. It's so easy to get lost, but we're speedrunners, we know exactly how to get to this dungeon. Oh my gosh. Move out of the way, thank you. Yeah, those Gyptos are... They are manipulatable, but unfortunately I messed something up while I was doing that room, so the Gyptos were in a spot that I was uncomfortable with.
Mind if I hop in real quick? What's up? What's something?
We're about to do our next bomb jump, and that's pretty much it. It allows us to skip having to enter this next part in a different way, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, you're good.
All right, wonderful. I was just wanting to say that my time here on the host mic over George, one of our lovely tech leads, is going to be taking over for hosting for the rest of this run, as well as Super Meat Boy. So everyone give it up for George here.
all right,
Hi,
thank you so
everyone.
much for everything, Ozmourn, and welcome, George.
Hi. I was originally scheduled to host this one. Mchan, if you have time, I can tell you why that didn't happen.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was working on the credits video for this event. Yes, I know, super late. And that involves, so I was like, oh, they're gonna ping me when it's time for my hosting shift. So in the process of editing the credits video, that involves opening OBS. And that enables you streamer mode on Discord.
Yeah, no, that seems about right. And no, doing credits the last day of the marathon is actually, I'll give you a little bit of background knowledge that I know from having worked on a variety of marathons over the years, is that that's actually fairly normal. You want to make sure you give everybody as much time as possible to get, responses in on how they'd like their names to be shown in the credits. All that good jazz. So we do not hold it against you, and I know very well that OBS does many funky things when trying to do the rest of your work. So we're glad you could join us.
Alright, so we're coming up to Mothula. So let's see how this fight goes, and well, then we'll maybe try to explain it.
Mothula. I loved Mothula in the Godzilla movies. No, wait, wrong. Close enough.
Uh-oh. Already off to a rocky start to the fight. Lovely.
Oh, dear. Oh, worst case, we've got a fairy.
I would like to keep it, though. Okay, there we go. Alright. So, Mothula either goes really wrong or really well, and no in between. In this case, I got a really wrong fight. And so, the fight is, it's a little complex. Basically, it takes, with the Tempered Sword, it takes 4 slash to beat him. But sometimes it takes more, because if you hit Mothula over spikes, then he takes 0 damage, for some reason. So I was trying to hit him, you saw me try to hit him in a way where he doesn't go over the spikes in order for him to, that way I can get damage in. You want to defeat him as fast as you can, because the longer you let the fight go, then the more chaotic that room gets. Because I see spikes move everywhere, Mothula's attacking you, so you're just like constantly dodging everything while trying to fight Mothula. Fun fact, the Game Boy Advance version, he's actually much easier because in that version, the fact that spikes do 0 damage to Macula does not apply in the Game Boy Advance version. So it's a much easier fight on the Game Boy Advance version. So now we're going to go get Quake, as well as get the Zora flippers, which are 500 rupees. Very expensive flippers. The enemy that you saw me dash right through can actually sometimes hit you, which can be a problem because if you don't have full HP entering the next dungeon, which is going to be Ice Palace, then you're going to lose a bit of time in that dungeon. George, you got anything that you want to say to us?
Absolutely, I can always talk about the charity if you want.
Yeah!
So, for those just joining us, we are raising money for Service Familia Valle. It's an amazing charity in the local Bay Area, in the local San Fernando area, who are supporting the LGBTQ plus community. If you want to know more about them, they have an amazing website, net or oh my god, what the hell? I'm not on the right page of my hosting guide. Professional host right here. Let me get this in. They have a website. It's on the. I know what to do. We have a charity command.
Correct.
.org. .org. That's what it is. My bad. And they have tons of support groups, tons of events that they put on to support the local LGBTQ plus community in the local San Fernando area. So if you want to help a super small charity, super small grassroots organization, then you can donate on a Tilda Fight campaign. And you can keep raising that donation counter. We're sitting at $1,270, and I think we can raise $1,500 by the end of this event. We still got a couple runs to go. Also, we got that bonus any % incentive for this game, actually, for Link to the Past. If you want to see Mchan perform an any % Lich run, we are sitting at $20 out of 85 for that. So just $65 more. We got an hour, everyone. Let's get it.
Alright, so now we're going to head into Ice Palace. You do need the flippers in order to enter Ice Palace. You can do fake flippers to do Ice Palace, but you need the flippers anyway in order to actually do a later dungeon, so it's not worth skipping flippers. Alright, so Ice Palace, when casual players think of Ice Palace, they dread. It's like a really complicated, very long, it takes 10 minutes, but we're gonna cut the length of that in half with the largest sequence break of the entire game, and that is another bomb jump. The item of the dungeon is blue mail, and we actually are not gonna get blue mail. And as a result, this is going to allow us to skip needing the big key. We don't need the big key at all. So if both of these style posts, oh, I didn't do it right. So if both those style posts are down at the same time, then the bomb will actually defeat both of them. But didn't quite get it that time. That's okay. Alright, so here is the Ice Palace bomb jump. Alright, let's try again. Man.
A very precise bomb jump.
Okay, there we go. No! Okay. Now I gotta do it again. Okay. So unfortunately, my heart count's looking kind of concerning, but hopefully that shouldn't matter too much.
Yeah,
Also, my
Okay.
bomb count's lower than I'd like it to be. I'm gonna... Normally I'd boost through this guy, but I'm just gonna wait it out. So, by doing that bomb jump, the switches, I can let the switches be a very specific way, to where, as you can see, the blue switch is down, to where I can push that block right away, and actually go to the end of the dungeon. So you skip a lot of going back and forth in this dungeon. So this is it's a really a huge sequence break. In this route, it is required because you need the hookshot in order to do this dungeon otherwise. Nice! So, it didn't look like anything, but that is a pretty tough fight. Because if you let the cold stare puffballs get away, then you just have to hope that they don't hit you, because they hurt for 4 hearts of damage. You're supposed to have the blue mail, but I skipped it, so they're gonna hurt a lot.
Very good fight.
And if you somehow die in this fight, then you just lose a lot of time, because then you'd have to go through basically the whole dungeon. So, like, if you like ever like watch people race this game, it's very common to where like once someone dies to this fight in a race, then they just forfeit.
Yeah, because usually also you don't have enough magic to refight the boss, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of, like, you have to go for magic, you probably need more bombs, it's a huge time.
Alright, so now we're gonna go back to Death Mountain. Hopefully I don't get hit, otherwise that'd be really bad. Well, not too bad. I have a fairy, but I would like to show off a really cool trick that if I go through with full hearts, which is looking really good. These we didn't explain it the first time, but the boulders and the dead rocks, they move randomly, so you can get hit, and there's not much you can do about it. Okay, so serious time. Good. Give it to me, please. Oh my god.
Oh, nice.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Really want that spin speed. Yeah, so, that movement, you have just enough hearts where if you move in a very specific way throughout the Cave of Spikes, then you can just make it with just 1 heart, and then you can use the Cane of Burna, which gives you invincibility to basically just run across, like, on your way out. So that's the one part where I grabbed that fairy for, is if I went into that cave without the full 14 hearts, then I can use that fairy to revive myself and go through the rest of the cave. But now I have a fairy in reserve for if I die somewhere else. But at this point, I shouldn't be concerned with health most of the time. So we got Ether, and Ether is required in order to enter this next dungeon, which is going to be called Misery Mire. It lives up to its name. As you'll see, it is full of misery.
Worse than a spike pit, huh? Well, guess we'll see when we get there.
So, fortunately, the very next heart piece that we got does give us a heart refill, which is very convenient because having full hearts entering Misery Mire is really important.
Yes, I'm sure a long time, you were talking about the ice dungeon nobody likes, and longtime Zelda fans know that water dungeons are never any fun, so how about a swamp dungeon?
Yeah, so, this is one of the reasons right away where having full hearts is really good. You can pretty much use sword beams and defeat all those enemies out in a distance. Health management is also just very important because the fastest way to do the boss fight of this dungeon requires a ton of intentional damage. Fortunately, it's more lenient in 100% because we have a lot more hearts than otherwise, but you still want to manage your health pretty well. One of the reasons that this dungeon is really tough is that because this is actually the 6th Dark World dungeon, Ice Palace was the 5th Dark World dungeon, so they intend you to get the blue mail from Ice Palace and use it for Misery Mire. Actually, I'm gonna... Okay, thank you very much. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the enemies here, they hit pretty hard. So you saw I can actually shoot the fire rod through the moving blocks while they are moving. And it saves having to go around the railings to hit the torches with the fire rod. So, coming up, we're about to, now that we got the big key, we're going to get the item of the dungeon, which is the Cane of Samaria. The Cane of Samaria is an item that will create a block, which you can use to hold a switch down, which is required right as soon as we get the item. And then when you use it again, then the block turns into 4 different beams, which is useful, not in this dungeon, but in other dungeons later on. It's a pretty cool item. So there's a Cane of Samaria. I'm going to go in, take an intentional damage in order to go through some spikes in order to get that key. Nice, that pot had a heart. Sometimes it doesn't, but I got lucky this time.
So that pot, it usually depends on if that Wizrow that shoots or not. If you grab the pot before he shoots, then it will spawn a heart. But the fact but when he shoots, it kind of like overloads the sprites in that room, and it won't. Just it won't spawn.
So, normally this is where some people would actually do a trick called Spooky Mire Glitch, where you just do some complex setup to where, like, it extends the fire on hitbox to where you can actually hit the switches from different rooms, and it saves like 10 seconds, but I haven't really practiced it enough to confidently show it off, so we're just gonna do things the normal way here. And now coming up is Vitreous. Would you like to explain Vitreous New Life?
Sorry?
Vitreous. Oops.
Oh yeah, Vitreous. That's right. Yeah, so Vitreous is an eyeball with a bunch of eyeballs around. And the strat is you want to damage boost on the goo that's on the floor, so you can get inside him and do spin attacks. It's very risky, but if you do it right, it's pretty consistent as well.
Yeah, so the risky thing is that you don't want to. You want to make sure you don't accidentally hit any of the eyeballs. So they do 4 hearts of damage, and if you mess up, then the fight goes really wrong. Because then you're at that point you don't have enough hearts to damage to go into the slime, and then you have to try to hit all the eyeballs without going into the slime. So you lose quite a lot of time. Fortunately, in 100%, there is a backup, and I can use the Cane of Burna to go through the slime instead. But in most other categories, you don't get the Cane of Burna, so you just hope that you don't die.
And he also killed the eyeball as soon as it spawned, because if you let him get out of the slime, he will start bouncing and jumping around the room, and it can be very tough.
Yeah. Okay, so come up is the hardest trick in the game. Yo, I did it! Oh my gosh! So you just you just simply just use the mirror while the blocks are moving, and they just disappear. And it is a Japanese 1.0 exclusive trick.
Is that another case of like too many sprites on screen so something despawns, or is there a different? If you happen to know,
I don't know why it works. It just works, and it helps us. So.
Yeah, I don't know either. I just think while the block is moving, it just becomes nothing. I don't know what's because you can exploit that with several different items. Like if you're pushing the block, you can even use a hook shot. And the fire rod, like we showed you in Meyer. So I don't really know why that works, but it works.
Yeah, you figure it might be something like the game doesn't really update with the location of the block until it reaches the next actual tile it can be on.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
I mean, that's what New Life's explanation sounded like to me, so. But yeah, no, as a runner, all you really need to know is that it works. That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
So, if we have a little bit of time, what are each of your histories with this run and this game generally? Mchan, you want to go first?
So I'm actually a really old runner. May not look like it, but I've actually been running this game for a long time. I started in July of 2012, but took it seriously in 2015. I don't really know. This I started watching Cypher's AGDQ run back then.
Mm-hmm.
And the game looked fun, so I started playing it, and shortly after started speedrunning it, and you know, it was really fun to me, and I just kept playing it, and then it just became like the first speedrun that I started taking seriously.
I see. Yeah, but there's a bit of a nostalgia factor there, and I can see how that would make kind of like a, you know, whenever you want a comfort speedrun to go back to, just something like, you know, most of the ins and outs, you can do it, you know, kind of half asleep, such as it were.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I know you run a lot of different games across, you know, variety of popular franchises, so I'm surprised to learn that this is the first one, but that's very cool. How about you, New Life?
Kind of similar to Mchan. I started speedrunning this game around 2015, seriously, 2016 maybe. And also, I mean, this is, like you said, it's very nostalgic. I grew up playing this game.
Yeah, see, the difference right there is I didn't grow up with this game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I watched GDQ one day, back in the day, and I got into speedrunning. I discovered Twitch. I didn't even know what this was. And yeah, it's an amazing community. A lot of great people.
How cool. Yeah. No, it's funny. I've actually, like, I watched GDQ since around that time as well, 2012 that is. I think SGDQ 2012 might have been the first one that I caught live. But I didn't actually start speedrunning anything until last year. I kind of like always thought of myself as the kind of person like, this is cool, I like it a lot. You know, I've been hosting speedrun marathons, including GDQs for a few years, but just something about it. I always figured I'd be the kind of person, knowing myself, knowing my ADHD. It's like, I'm probably not going to stick with something long enough to get to the level of really speedrunning it and like feeling like I know what I'm doing. And then there just ended up being a game or two that I started playing casually, and it's like, no, this I could speedrun this. This would be fun. I guess it just that's all it takes. It takes that instinct to kick in and be like, hey, but what if I played this but faster?
Yeah, this game was the first game where I started timing myself to see how fast I can beat it.
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you both of you for sharing your stories. All right.
So so we've been talking throughout most of Swamp Palace. There's not much to say about Swamp Palace. It's the second Dark World dungeon, and so because of that, like it's actually a tough dungeon to do fast, but not a tough dungeon where you're gonna die. So it is like the breather dungeon, because you do this dungeon so late in the run, so you already like have more equipment than you're otherwise supposed to. So yeah.
And that's cool that it's useful in ways that make it smart to route it this way in 100%. You know, in some Zelda games, I know it's like, even if you had equipment from later on, it might only be used to solve puzzles in the dungeon that it came from and like somewhere in the overworld. So the fact that you can use the extra equipment you have to gain speed even in this dungeon is kind of a neat thing that might actually set Link to the Past apart from some of the other Zelda speedruns.
So we're coming up to the boss of the dungeon, Argus. And so there's a strat that I'm not going to do. It's called the Zero Cycle Argus. It involves item dashing with the hook shot, and then keeping that state to defeat the puffballs really fast. But it's insanely hard to do, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it the standard way. The way Nintendo intended to fight this boss.
Intended gaming? That doesn't sound like speedrunning.
Yeah, this fight, the Zero Cycle Argus is extremely tough. I tried it. I'm not consistent at all, so I also do this way.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain point, you know, we've been talking on and off about, you know, like what's a good time, which usually involves like all the tricks which are semi-consistent and then some good luck. I feel like there are kinds of tricks.
And it's luck based whether you get the Zero Cycle, because sometimes Argus can just charge at you and then you just lose your chance of the Zero Cycle.
Nice, of course. Yeah, there are always going to be some tricks, or there are going to be games that have tricks where it's like, even if you're competing at the highest level, there's really no such thing as consistent. I kind of got the inkling that this trick was one of those, so yeah, that makes sense.
And now it's the cleanup. Now he's gonna go out and get everything that's left out.
Yeah, we're gonna be getting the rest of the collectibles of the game from here. So this is like an 8-minute cleanup session. There is one trick to explain pretty shortly after that hopefully I can get. So for now, if George has anything to say really quickly, then that would be a good time.
Absolutely. I just want to remind everyone, if you want to see Mchan do a lot more unintended strategy, because we just did an intended strat, if you want to see Mchan do the opposite of that, we got an incentive open. We got an incentive for Mchan to do an any percent bonus run right after this, and we need $65 more for this. So you all got a little bit over half an hour to meet that. You better meet that. I would love to see that.
Yeah, that's hardly an insurmountable number. Like any donation, you know, $10, $5, $3 would help
even
get
$1.
us a significant amount of the way towards that.
Even $1 makes a huge impact to a charity of this size. We still have like time for one more fun fact.
Maybe later, because the trick that I'm about to do is coming up. So first off, we're gonna get this our last bottle here, and then now it's time for not particularly hard, but it's also really easy to mess up, and unfortunately easy choke point this late in the run. It's called Bomb Duplication. So now after beating Misery Mire and Ice Palace, there is the bomb shop, which is Link's house in the Dark World, has a big bomb available to us for 100 rupees. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay a bomb right as I buy it, after I buy it, and screen transition right as it explodes, and then the game just gives me the bomb on the next screen. Nice.
GG.
So that just saves me from having to go all the way around the whole screen just to get to where I'm at. And we use this big bomb to open up this cave, and this cave is gonna give us the it's a great fairy pawn that allows us to upgrade our sword. So now we'll have the final sword upgrade, the gold sword, as well as silver arrows, which you're normally supposed to need in order to beat the game, but there is a way to beat the game without silver arrows, but it's 100%, so we do get the silver arrows anyway. So yeah, you're good to keep going, George.
Yeah, I just want to mention one quick fun fact, why even just a $1 donation helps, and that is because up until very recently, this charity actually filed their taxes by postcard, which means they had less than $50,000 annually in funding. So like, just think of that, $50,000 to operate a charity for an entire year. That is why every single donation to this charity matters, even if you just have $1 or $2 to spare.
Yeah, for sure. And knowing that they're a hyper-local charity, the work they do is, affecting, numbers of families and communities that you might be able to count on hands and stuff. But, that makes a huge difference for those people, for that neighborhood. And I'm sure there are other charities carrying on that kind of mission around the world. But that, like I mentioned earlier, local civic engagement is the kind of thing where people are really the most likely to listen to and engage with your concerns. So having a charity like this working on behalf of families in the San Fernando Valley, I'm sure makes a huge difference for them.
We love local charities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely an exciting thing to be a part of. This is the first Completithon where they are trying out a charity event, and this is a good one to start off with for Completithon. You can keep going if you like.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of local charities, if you just happen to be in the local San Fernando area, you can actually directly help with Somosfamiliavalle. You can go directly to their site, www.somosfamiliavalle.org. It's also in chat there, so you can click that directly and you can see all they have to offer. You can directly sign up to become a member of them for free in order to get updates on their activities and events that their community hosts. And they also host free LGBTQ plus youth programs, both in person and virtually, so that youths aged 12 to 17 were LGBTQ plus immigrant, people of color, and their allies can have a space to make new friends and discuss the issues and ideas that matter to them. So, if that doesn't sound like an awesome charity, then I don't know what is an awesome charity to do. Let's get these donations in. Let's hit $1,500 before this event ends. And let's get that bonus run incentive for Mchan, Matt.
Hey, Mchan, where'd Link go?
So this is the item of that's me using the item that I just got. It's called the Magic Cape. It allows me to turn invisible, which, as you can see, I am able to go through enemies that would otherwise be in my way. So yeah, it's used a couple of times.
I take it we would have gotten attacked trying to pick up that last heart piece if we hadn't had it active.
Alright, so we're gonna go to Lake Hylia and grab one of our last items. It is the ice rod. It's very far out of the way, so it is sometimes easy to forget to get the ice rod. I remember one of my very old runs went so far into the next dungeon until I realized I forgot the ice rod.
Oh no. Did you have to immediately turn around, or were you able to finish the dungeon first and then go get it?
I gave that run up.
I see. Yeah, I mean, it happens. You know, the last run managed to actually... There was a gold bolt in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, if you've been with us for a little bit, that they were... It was the last part of a level they were trying to collect, and then on the way back, the game actually soft-locked. So it dropped them off at an earlier checkpoint, and they were able to go get it that way. Yeah, very unusual situation to end up backtracking because the game forces you to do it. Wouldn't expect that in your average run, but yeah, no. When you're getting 100%, you know, there's always that possibility. If you need to make yourself a checklist or put the items you're getting on your splits when you're using live split, whatever makes sense for you to do. Nobody's gonna judge. But you weren't kidding about this being out of the way. I feel like this is the most screens we've gone through in between two things happening in the entire run.
Yeah. Alright, so now we're about to enter our next Dark World dungeon. It is Turtle Rock. Not to be oh, the heck? Okay. Alright. I was trying to set up a item dash with the quick medallion in order to enter Turtle Rock a little bit faster, but the game said no, so we'll just do it this way. Anyway, not to be confused with Turtle Rock and Link's Awakening and Link Between Worlds. This dungeon really takes advantage of your magic.
Okay. I was gonna say, I was about to ask, have we actually been on basically the same magic bar the whole run so far? But if we're gonna be using a lot coming up, then I guess the answer is not anymore.
So in this torch puzzle here, I'm going to, after hitting that last torch, I'm going to hookshot this torch right here in order to spawn my way back to the beginning of the room and get to this next room quicker. This room is much easier having the cape or the cane of Burna, as you can dash right through these rollers. Okay, so this next room is the Pokey, and the Pokey moves in 4 different directions. There's 4 different patterns that you get from the Pokey. That one was easy, but there's 2 more rooms with Pokies, and those rooms can really cause issues if I get an unfortunate Pokey pattern.
Alright, let us not speak ill of the Pokies until they are behind us.
And that room is one of the worst rooms of the dungeon. The Chomps move anywhere they feel like it, and they do 4x damage if you somehow get hit by them.
A very Super Mario themed dungeon.
Yeah, indeed. Mario's dungeon.
Pipes, Pokies, Chomps.
Okay, so here we go. Here's the second Poke room. Let's see what we get here.
This isn't the only Zelda game that Chomps appear in.
Okay.
I believe it is the only one with Pokies.
Unless they're playing Link's Awakening Switch, then yeah.
Yeah, they have Goombas, right? And Cheep Sheets.
Oh,
yeah.
Jeez, that's right.
Link's Awakening has everything.
And to be fair, I feel like Bow Wow would probably be insulted by being referred to as just a chain chomp.
True.
The dog? What do you mean? All dogs look like that.
Oh, jeez, my bad. Sorry. I only have cats here, so you could understand why I would make that mistake.
Okay, not bad. Those patterns were pretty good. Could have been better, but it's about what you could hope for. And now we're gonna take a detour here. in order to get a heart piece. So the mirror right here is something that if you just do in the dungeon, you don't really think about this, but yeah, if you warp, then you get into this cave that's like unusual. These types of enemies are normally Dark World enemies, and they're in the Light World. So I hear that some people call this the ROM hack room because it's such a unusually weird room. But yeah. So now we're gonna enter the second part of the dungeon and grab the mirror shield. Now, there's actually a lower tier shield called the red shield. But obviously, again, if we're able to skip any lower variation tier and get the highest tier, then it's fair game. The mirror shield allows us to deflect beams, and it's actually very useful in a room coming up in this dungeon. Oh, I went the wrong way. That's not good. Okay, maybe I can improvise this somehow.
Oh.
Okay, we're good. We'll, fat fingering on the D-pad.
Not quite what you meant when you said the game is about reacting to what happens, but you know, in a live marathon environment, sometimes you just gotta go with it.
Yeah. Okay. So as you can see right there, normally that laser would hit me off the edge. I would lose 4 hearts of damage, but with the mirror shield, I'm not affected by that laser. Okay, so fortunately there is a large magic drop right there, because I would like magic for the boss coming up. It is Trinex. 3 necks, a red neck, a blue neck, and the real one. Ice Rod for the red one, and the Fire Rod for the blue one. And it takes 3 hits with the gold sword, or 5 hits with the tempered sword if you're doing the 80% category. Oh, okay, very nice.
Don't play the low percent category.
Oh yeah, in low percent, this fight's one of the hardest fights in low percent. Yeah, in low percent, you don't upgrade your sword past their master sword. So trying to do this whole fight with trying to do the rest of the game with just the master sword is a challenge.
Yeah, so it's like 10 or 15 hits per head, including that last phase where you have to chase it around.
Yeah,
and
something like that, and you only have so much magic to do the fight. Because you have to use the Fire Rod and Ice Rod in order to even do damage to them. So we finally rescued Zelda. We saved Zelda twice in this game. So with all 7 maidens rescued, it is now time to do the last dungeon, which is Ganon's Tower. But first there is one more heart piece for us to get. So we're gonna go ahead and take a quick detour real quick to get it. Now I'm not cheating, as you're supposed to use ether, and there's it reveals like the path on those invisible floors I was walking on, but if you know where they are, then you don't have to use ether.
Yeah, frankly, I think it'd be more frustrating if they made it so that you had to use the item to make the path appear at all.
Yeah.
I didn't even know as a kid that you could use ether to see the floor. I used to push a Samaria block.
Oh. Alright, so the maidens are gonna break the barrier for us to enter Ganon's tower. And Ganon's tower is a very intense dungeon, so New Left is very likely going to explain most of this dungeon, as I'm gonna focus.
Alright, I'll leave it up to them.
Would we have a quick moment just before the action starts?
Yeah, real quick.
Right, because we did get a $20 donation by Tears Deferred. Thank you so much. Saying donating $20 for the one missed collectible during my fast run. That went towards the Super Meat Boy bonus 80% incentive and saved me a swift. It was
Nice.
donations in everyone. We're almost at $1,300.
Alright, New Life, it's all you.
Alright, so yeah, Ganon's Tower is a very tough dungeon. It has a lot of it's kind of a gauntlet-like dungeon, and it has a refight of 3 light world bosses, so Ozmourn, Landmolus, and Armos. And the first boss coming up is going to be Armos. There's how do you say? All the fights are a little bit different. This fight, Armos, you will fight him on an ice floor, and it makes the fight much more challenging. But since he has ice arrows, they only take one shot. So
Ice arrows.
ice arrows, silver arrows. But yeah, it's tougher if you didn't have the silver arrows. But with the silver arrows, it's pretty much trivial this fight. And right after the fight, he's going to grab the big key, and then the red mail, which is the last armor upgrade you get in the game.
I appreciated the way that we entered that boss fight was just by falling down a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is gonna be our very last item of the game, which is red mail, which will increase our defense by quite a bit.
And now Mchan is gonna climb the tower and need to reach a series of rooms that we call the Gauntlet. There's several small rooms with a bunch of enemies that he has to kill as quick as possible. And they can be tricky. You can lose a lot of time.
Yeah, it's mostly read and react in those 5 rooms all in a row. Fortunately, because we've been getting all these upgrades, they're easier than in the 80% category, but you can still lose quite a lot of time even then.
But yeah, 5 rooms of the Gauntlet. Really well.
Come on. Alright.
Ugh, yeah, you hope for good enemy placement. That one got stuck behind the statue.
Yeah, the 3rd room is probably the trickiest one.
Yeah. Okay, so everything went well except for that 3rd room. So.
And now he's gonna refight Landmolus, but in this case, there's a fire shooter in the room, which even if it's just one fire shooter, it makes the fight much more challenging. Especially in lower, not 100%, in 100%.
Yeah, you got the mirror shield as you saw.
Yeah. The silver arrows are just such a powerful weapon. They kill one shot enemies in the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, the silver arrows they also lag the game quite a lot with the sparkles. So we try not to use silver arrows as much as possible.
Yeah, when your game has a sprite limit.
Yeah.
So in these two torch rooms, normally use both the lamp and the fire rod, but because we have half magic, I can use the fire rod more often, and it saves more time in those rooms. Alright, so I shouldn't need to grab this, but I'll do it in case. Just refill my magic. And now this is the Moldorm refight.
Well, on the plus side, there's no hole in the center of the arena this time. On the minus side, everything else. Thankfully, our equipment made that fight much faster than last time.
There's another strat in that room that some people do, called hovering, where it just involves the simple explanation as it's complicated, but the game basically you take advantage of the fact that the game doesn't recognize that you're above a pit for more than when you're dashing above a pit for like a frame or two. So you can just hover over the pit and skip the Moldorm fight entirely, which can save 6 seconds if you do it well, but
and easily lose lots more time, I'm sure.
Yeah, if you somehow fall.
Alright, we're at 2 blue balls.
Okay, nice. So yeah, so that's the Aghanim rematch. As you can see, there's 2 silhouettes as well as the real Aghanim, and you want to shoot Aghanim shots at the real Aghanim. And it's a really hard fight because you need in order to fight really well, you need really good geometry to line all the energy shots to hit Aghanim at once. So if you're really good, you can get a 2 cycle, but it's also random because Aghanim can shoot a blue ball.
Hey, do we have a second before the Ganon fight?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay, no worries. I noticed the number in the tracker go up by a pretty good amount. So George will tell us about that as soon as the run's over.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we got the Ganon fight, and it goes by really fast. New Light, please explain.
Well, Ganon with the golden sword, he takes 6 hits per cycle. There's 4 cycles. The first one he throws his trident. And it flies around, and on the second phase, he gets the circle of bats, fire bats that fly around him, and then they target you. But they're pretty easy to dodge. On the third phase, he tries to break the floor around, and once all the floor around the room has broken, the lights turn off. There is a trick you can do where you light the torch, the first torch, before the second one goes
Nice,
off.
got it.
And yeah, and then you get the torch glitch. And then the lights will never turn off, which is really good.
Okay, so time is coming up soon. As soon as I enter the Triforce room.
Yeah, and that's last phase. Pretty quick with silver arrows.
Yeah.
Silver arrows.
Time.
Yeah.
GG's.
GG's. 152.53. It's a pretty good time.
Very good time.
Would have been a little bit better had a chess game went a little bit better, but I played well overall outside of the RNG, so I'm happy with how the run went.
Yeah, you should be. It went very well.
And Yeah, it was an amazing run. You know what's also amazing?
What is that?
Ateatree has alluded to it earlier, but just before the Ganon fight, we did get a massive donation come in. We got a $71 donation from Renchi saying $1 per death in the Kingdom Hearts 2 run this morning. And you know what? First of all, that went towards the Kill the Nailsmith incentive, so that's now comfortable in Elite. But until the fight, you can put your donation both towards a bid and an incentive. And guess where that went to? That went towards the bonus any percent glitched run, Mchan. You're not done yet! We're doing bonus any percent.
Yes. Thank you so much.
So much, yeah. Thank you so much for meeting that.
As the screen says right now, it's time for the return of the king.
So am I going straight to the run, or can I watch the credits?
Let me ask.
Is this you're looking to verify that it's 100%, or?
Oh no. I know I got all the items. There's no.
Okay.
It's just something that I always do at the end of my runs. So I just always watch the credits.
You'll see the credits after the 90%.
It's true. We could just do it then.
Alright.
What's going to be the estimate for this? For any percent?
4 minutes. But yeah, thank you, New Life and Ateatree, for hanging out with me. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for inviting us. It was
My pleasure.
very fun.
Right, I've just been told that you can go into any percent whenever you'd like. No big feelings either way from our releases.
Okay. I guess we'll do it now, because actually the credits take a while, so...
Alright.
Alright. I'm gonna reset my own timer, and then... this file. Alright. Let's call it Eddie. Alright. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for donating towards the any percent run. And so you got a demonstration earlier that of what A Link to the Past is like when you go through the game without breaking the game too much. But now you guys get to see A Link to the Past in its true potential.
Right.
So-
Yeah. I talked a little bit earlier about how sometimes the logic of the game has to catch up to try to account for certain things you can do. We're gonna set up a situation where the game can't really do that.
Yeah, and I should actually. It's worth noting that there's several different ways that you can do this run. The route that I'm going to be doing for this run is not the absolute fastest way because it involves like a ton of like frame perfect, pixel perfect clips. So I'm going to be doing the route that's like super easy to do if you're just watching this run and you want to copy everything that I'm doing here, then you can do exactly what I'm doing. And it's like one of the easiest ways of doing this run. So.
And you too can beat A Link to the Past in 6 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. This is technically you could do this as a party trick. I know people who have done it. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Was it 4 or 6 minutes? Sorry, I forgot.
4.
Okay,
4.
sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
that's
looking for between 3 and 4 minutes probably. The world record for this category is I think 1 minute 36 and 3/4 seconds.
Yeah, something like that. And again, it involves doing frame perfect, pixel perfect clips that are like super crazy to do. They do it unbuffered, which is even crazier. So.
And it's not version exclusive, if I'm recalling.
Wow.
Yeah, you can do this you can do this route in any version. So here we go.
Whenever you're
3,
ready, let's do it.
2, 1, go. All right, here we go. So once again, Zelda is telepathically communicating with us that Aghanim is gonna do something terrible.
In 5 minutes, so we'd better hurry.
Yeah. Uncle tells us to stay in bed because he's going to save the world instead of us.
Oh, okay. I mean, that sounds fair.
Yeah. So, this first minute or so is relatively standard. Otherwise, you do something completely different if you're doing the absolute fastest route. But I don't feel like doing that. I'm feeling adventurous. So once again, finding the secret passageway into Hyrule Castle. And oh my gosh, our uncle is defeated somehow.
Wow, he was defeated in, what, 50 seconds?
Yeah, who could have
That's
done
unfortunate.
that? That very unfortunate. So we enter the castle, and you know, I don't feel like doing this run, so I'm save and quit, and come back to this later.
Oh, sure, that makes sense. Sometimes you just need to take a break.
Yeah, exactly. So we're back into the well, and I gotta make sure I don't get hit.
Yeah, it's
Getting hit
important
well.
he doesn't get hit.
Yeah. So we're gonna go up here this time. Hello, blue soldier. Oh, he hit me. Oh, what's this? What just happened?
You appear to have fallen through the world.
Well, I see a little bit of me right there.
Wait, is this Link Between Worlds now, or are you going through the walls? Is that...
Did Nintendo predict the future?
Wow.
Link between walls.
A link between walls, yeah.
Wait, no, this doesn't seem intentional.
Really? This seems like normal gameplay to me.
Okay,
Oh, I hear boss
take your
music.
word for it.
What's this?
Oh, why do we hear boss music?
There's Ganon. Time.
And that's how you beat the game, everyone.
Yeah. So that's 80%. I got a 254, which is actually a PB by 2 seconds.
Hey,
Oh, wow.
GG's.
GG.
Yeah. So what I just did there is when you save and quit, when you hop off a ledge, then Link is like in some weird state where if you get hit, then you're able to go through a wall and basically go out of bounds, and you're just into like a whole different layer of the game that we call exploration glitch. And if you watch like several other major glitches categories, then the no exploration glitches used very extensively to do things completely out of order in those categories. Oh, and then also the state, because I didn't complete Hyrule Castle before beating the game, you get to hear the rain throughout the entire credits sequence. So the credits are like glitched out by a lot because the game does not know what to do in the credits.
Yeah, it's the initial world state. It's funny that it doesn't update it. That's
Yeah.
fine. We'll just have a chill time listening to some rain sounds.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you guys
and
for.
Shen, where can the people find you?
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Mchan338. I stream this game as well as the other 2D Zelda games, as well as the new Super Mario Bros. Games. I ran New Super Luigi U earlier on Thursday, so if you like those games, then I stream those games quite often. You know, if you want to know more about this game as well as the other games that I run, then you can come to my stream. I'm always open to answering questions. This game also has a really nice community. If you're interested in even learning this game, every Sunday at around 3 p.m. Eastern time, they always have a community race of the No Major Glitches run, you know, it's always every Sunday is always a nice opportunity for people to get involved into the game, the community, the weekly races. They've been very active for as long as I've been running this game. So the community is held pretty strong. So
that's cool. It's always and like those are the sorts of things. If I'm not mistaken, it's like I know the Super Mario Brothers 3 community does something very similar, and it's very much like a no obligation, jump in, jump out whenever you feel like it sort of thing. So you have a Sunday where you want to see what's going on or learn the run from people who are doing it, watch them, and then get into it. There are all sorts of different ways into the community if you're interested.
Yeah.
And Ateatree and New Life 88, where might we find you two?
New Life, go ahead.
I'm not so active anymore, but I am on New Life 88, twitch.tv/New Life 88, and I do the same. I play usually play retro games like Link to the Past. I also play Earthbound, Earthbound, and Mega Man X. And
and I also I do like to shout out New Life. New Life has been my Link to the Past like racing buddy, like way back in like 2016. He and I would we used to race this game quite often, whether it's like this game, no major glitches, this category, no major glitches, even randomizer. So New Life and I go way back, and it's and I'm happy that he joined me on commentary for this run.
Thank you.
Yeah, very glad he was able to make it.
And Ateatree, where might we find you?
I'll tell you what I tell everybody who asks me that question as I'm participating in marathons, is that you're more likely to find me by just watching more speedrun marathons. I spend more time volunteering for and participating in marathons than I really do casual streaming, but same name on Twitch. If you do care to follow me, I stream every so often. So odds are I will see you around.
Did you think that after watching this run that it might have inspired you to pick this game up eventually?
Never say never. I haven't done a casual playthrough of this game in forever, so I'm actually kind of interested in doing that. So maybe I'll do that and go from there.
That'd be amazing. We do gotta wrap here, though, because we are running behind on schedule. So, Mchan, thank you so much for the run. Thank you, Ateatree and New Life 88 for commentating. We're gonna go on a quick break screen here to get set up for Super Meat Boy by Shredberg. So don't go anywhere. Enjoy the awesome tunes. And again, thank you so much for the run, Mchan.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and enjoy the rest of the marathon, everybody.
See ya.
Alright everyone, that is an awesome show by Mchan, both the 100% run and the any percent bonus run. Thank you again all so much for making that possible with your amazing donations, especially that $71 last minute donation by Renchi. We are getting set up here for Super Meat Boy 100% by Shredberg, and as we're getting set up here, I have been given permission to queue up one of my favorite songs personally as a host here, so thank you again for the producer for letting me do this. Enjoy this. This is a Toho remix. So enjoy the tunes. We're getting set up for Super Meat Boy, and while that's playing, I want to let you know, for those just joining in, we are here raising money for Somos Familia Valle. It's an amazing charity in the San Fernando Valley area. They've been founded September 6, 2014, and they're a community dedicated to support, empower, train, and mobilize their families and allies for racial, gender, environmental, and economic justice. Somos Familia Valle promotes LGBTQ-affirming homes, safer schools, and healthier communities through our values, a commitment to being our authentic selves, community compassion, and integration, family courage, intersectionality, and cultural humility. So, it's a local charity. They host many support groups. If you're in their local area, you can actually join them. You can actually become a member for free, get updates on activities and events that their community hosts. And they also host free LGBTQ plus youth programs, both in prisons and virtually. So, youths all ages 12 to 17 where LGBTQ plus immigrant people of color and their allies can have a space to make new friends and discuss the issues and ideas that matter to them. And the groups also learn about mental health, diversity, inclusion, power of community, advocacy, organizing, and social justice to help youths create change together. And just as a reminder, this is a super small charity. They have less than or around $50,000 in funding a year. So every single donation matters. Every single cent matters. Even if you just have $1 to spare, please go to also the fake campaign page. You can donate by typing ! donate in chat or scrolling below the stream. And you too can make an amazing impact for the LGBTQ plus community in the San Fernando area. Alright everyone, we are pretty much ready here for Shredberg playing Super Meat Boy. Before we get started, I want to let everyone know, if you're watching this event and you want to get involved in the next one, be on the lookout for news about no holidays allowed. That event is going to be open to all kinds of speedruns and showcases that all lovely runners have to offer, not just glitchless runs, anything. And if you're looking to show off some amazing speedruns this December, watch this event to the end, because we are going to be announcing the dates and submissions dates for No Holidays Allowed at the end of